We're back in the Nissan GTR at El Toro Marine Base, where we're about to start a barrage of instrumented testing. First up is the acceleration runs. This car is very easy to get repeatable runs in and very easy to launch because it has a built-in electronic launch control. To get that set up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to engage the race mode of the transmission and transfer case logic, the race mode of the suspension, and turn the vehicle dynamic control off. Then I put the manual mode on the transmission. We engage the brake, flat foot the accelerator pedal. I'll get 4,400 RPM on the clock, and as soon as I release the brake, off we go. A little, maybe a foot or two of wheel spin, and we're off like a shot. Let's give it a shot. Okay, and just like that, run after run, you can lay down 3.2 seconds 0 to 60, 11.6 seconds at 120 miles an hour in the quarter. Amazing performance for a 3,879-pound car. That's keeping right up with Porsche 911 turbos. How on earth can you do that in such a heavy car with a less advantageous power-to-weight ratio? Well, there's a number of things. First of all, we went to the dynamometer and we discovered this car is actually making a little bit more than 480 horsepower. We reckon it's a little north of 500, maybe as much as 514. That's part. The next part is that the transmission gearing is very short. It's 10% shorter than the gearing in the 911 Turbo, for example. And it also, with this twin clutch transmission, the shift time is almost imperceptible. There's almost no drop in the torque delivery. So whereas a 911 Turbo might need a quarter of a second for each shift, we're cutting that out completely. You do that and you end up with 911 Turbo numbers. This car also has incredible braking. We're about to do a braking test to put these Brembo brakes to the test. 15 plus inches at all corners, 6 pistons in front, 4 pistons in the rear, but they're standard steel brakes, nothing composite here. We're going to do a 100 to 0 braking and 60 to 0 both. Let's see what she does. And as easy as that, you can get from 100 to 0 in 280 feet, or if I do a 60 to 0, comes out 105 feet. Repeatable over and over again. Very impressive brakes. Our last test is Motortrend's exclusive Figure 8 test. This is a great way to combine transitions from braking into a turn and accelerating out of a turn. And an all-wheel drive turbo car like this is really well suited to this type of test. Here again, I've got everything set to the race mode for maximum performance. Let's see how she does. Car charges very hard out of the turn. The race mode allows a little bit of a rear tail wag as you come out. But the natural tendency is to push, which is good, very safe. If I were to turn the VDC completely off, I have a little bit more of that tail wagging thing. It's a little bit hard to control that way though, so we found our best runs were with that R mode on. And again, brakes are very strong in this car. I can go very deep before we have to brake for the next turn. And just like that, after a couple of laps, we're zeroed in, and our best time was 24.3 seconds at an average G of 0.81. And we also discovered that the max lateral G in steady state on the ends is 0.97 G. Those aren't quite as impressive numbers as we might have seen, but this particular surface has a lot of dust on it, so we think that that might be partly to blame. Nissan aimed to make an everyday livable supercar with the GTR, and I think they've hit that target. You get 911 performance in the realm that most people can approach. We do find that above the quarter mile, your Z06s and 911 turbos and Ford GTs and other supercars will start to pull away from this car. Physics just can't be overcome forever. It gets where it's going because of the nice short gearing, incredibly fast gear changes, and good power to weight ratio. But it doesn't quite equal on the very, very high end. Still, nobody goes up to those speeds, so for the everyday person, this is a marvelous supercar.